Please like, share and subscribe. Muhammad ibn al-Qasim's invasion of Sind in 711 CE marked the beginning of Islamic rule in parts of the Indian subcontinent. Although often celebrated as a pioneer of Islam in the region, his reign was also characterized by harsh policies, particularly in the form of forced conversions, religious persecution, and temple destruction. These actions, rooted in a combination of political, economic, and religious motives, left a lasting impact on the region's socio-cultural landscape. Forced conversions and religious persecution. Forced conversions were one of the most contentious aspects of Ibn al-Qasim's campaign. Although medieval Islamic law recognized the right of non-Muslims to practice their faith in exchange for paying the jizya, a tax on non-Muslims, accounts suggest that such toleration was often ignored in practice. Dabal's conquest. After the siege of Dabal, modern Karachi, Ibn al-Qasim's forces reportedly gave the surviving population an ultimatum: convert to Islam or face death. While some sources suggest that a portion of the population accepted Islam under duress, others were either enslaved or executed. Brahmanabad massacre. At Brahmanabad, a significant urban center, large-scale forced conversions occurred following a brutal massacre. After the city's fall, survivors were given the choice of converting or paying the jizya. Those who refused either option were executed. This event is frequently cited as an example of how conversion was enforced through violence and economic pressure. Multan. In Multan, Ibn al-Qasim's forces reportedly destroyed local shrines and temples, pressuring the populace to embrace Islam. Non-Muslims who resisted were subjected to heavy taxation, displacement, or enslavement. Treatment of the Brahmins and Buddhists. Hindu Brahmins and Buddhist monks, who played significant roles in local society, were particular targets of persecution. Many were executed or stripped of their privileges unless they converted, significantly weakening the cultural and religious institutions of the region. Destruction of temples. Muhammad ibn al-Qasim's campaigns targeted temples not only as religious institutions but also as economic hubs, given their wealth and central role in local governance. The destruction of these temples served both to demoralize the local population and to fund the conquest. Dabal's temple. One of the most infamous acts during Ibn al-Qasim's conquest was the desecration of the Grand Temple at Dabal. The temple, adorned with a massive idol and known for its wealth, was looted, and the idol was destroyed. A mosque was erected in its place to symbolize the triumph of Islam. This act sent a clear message to the local population about the new political and religious order. Brahmanabad. After capturing Brahmanabad, many temples in the city were razed to the ground. Wealth from these temples was seized and distributed among the soldiers or sent back to the Umayyad Caliphate. These actions were aimed at breaking the religious and economic backbone of local resistance. Multan's Sun Temple. Multan was home to a renowned Sun Temple, a center of pilgrimage for Hindus. While some sources suggest that Ibn al-Qasim spared the temple to levy taxes on pilgrims, other accounts claim that he desecrated it by destroying idols and confiscating its treasures. The temple's role as a cultural and economic hub was severely undermined. Economic and cultural suppression. Beyond religious persecution, Ibn al-Qasim's administration imposed policies that suppressed local traditions and institutions. Heavy taxes like the jizya and kharaj, land tax, were imposed on non-Muslims, creating severe economic hardship. These taxes were often collected with brutal efficiency, leaving many unable to sustain their livelihoods. Those who could not pay faced imprisonment, loss of property, or forced labor. The destruction of temples and imposition of Islamic practices disrupted the cultural and religious fabric of Sind. Local festivals, rituals, and community gatherings were often curtailed, while the building of mosques symbolized the dominance of Arab rule. Mixed historical accounts. The portrayal of Ibn al-Qasim as either a ruthless conqueror or a pragmatic administrator varies depending on the source. Islamic chroniclers such as al-Baladari in Fuda al-Buldan emphasize his just treatment of converts and his administrative reforms. However, local and later historians often highlight the violence, forced conversions, and temple desecrations, painting a darker picture of his legacy. Conclusion. Muhammad ibn al-Qasim's conquest of Sind was undeniably transformative, introducing Islam to the Indian subcontinent. However, his reign also brought widespread violence, forced conversions, and the systematic destruction of temples, which caused profound cultural and religious disruption. While some view his actions as the necessary harshness of medieval conquest, others see them as a reflection of religious intolerance and exploitation. The legacy of his rule remains controversial, a reminder of the complex interplay between conquest, religion, and governance in history. Please like, share, and subscribe.